Welcome back everyone. Next episode, and you may notice that there's something different. Basically plans have now changed for this van. My mum and dad are wanting to get a camper van. They want to get on to the kind of camper van scene. Unfortunately, with budget restraints, they're obviously finding it very difficult to do a conversion themselves. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to get this one mechanically sound for them, and then they are going to take it and convert it to suit them. So a little bit of a change. Now that explains why, well, it doesn't really actually explain it, but that's one of the reasons why it's not sitting here. Now we've done a lot of work to it. We've changed the turbo, we've put new oil in it, air filter, fuel filter, oil filter. We've got the new turbo, 2 new injectors. We've also done the replacement on the glow plugs as well. We've got that all sorted. And basically that's it. It's been put back together again. And what we've done is we've took it out onto the road, gave it a quick test drive. Now at the time I was test driving it myself. I didn't have my phone with me, I didn't have anything with me. I'd left the workshop open and everything. It was certainly an eventful moment when we were driving that. Let's just say there was parts of South Lanarkshire you could no longer see for 10-15 minutes until the smoke had cleared. But with that being said, it was still a very successful test drive. Now there has been 1 or 2 little problems. I did have a little issue with the injector seal on cylinder 4 not sealing properly. I think that was down to the fact that as I've reamed it out, obviously to give a nice seat for the injector, it's ended up making it a little bit deeper, so I had to double up on the copper washer, which was a top tip from Rathel Autos to get me out of a pickle. Now it does seem like that's sealed now, which is great. Now the new owners are currently have it out on the road right now, just giving it a wee test drive, and yeah, we're just going to let them run about in it for a couple of days, see what issues they come back with, and then we'll fix those problems, and then we'll basically just give it back to them for their conversion. So we'll see what comes back from the test drive. Right, well, she's came back from a test drive. I think pretty successful, I think they were fairly happy with it. It has highlighted a few issues though that we do need to go through. Now unfortunately the weather today is absolutely miserable, so we'll try and do some things that are inside the van. Now because I already looked at the weather report and I knew today was going to be rubbish, yesterday I did sort one of the problems. Now the engine management light came on. Now after hooking the scan tool up, basically it was saying it was the mass airflow sensor. Basically it was getting a reading that was higher than expected. So I took the mass airflow sensor out, gave it a clean. Sure enough it was still covered in oil a little bit. So I cleaned that off with some contact cleaner. Maybe not the right stuff, but it's what I've got. And put that back in. And it still didn't actually solve the issue. So basically the next thing was a little bit of research, and it then transpires that actually the reason why it might not be working is because of the EGR. So I had already looked down in the engine bay and I had noticed that the EGR was already had basically silicon all the way around it, which means somebody has had their digits in there and has already messed around. So I took it off only to find that it has been blanked off. There was a blanking plate there. Now I took the EGR out, I gave it a wee clean. It wasn't actually that bad. It wasn't actually that bad at all. So I've cleaned it up, I checked the motor, made sure that was all okay. Everything seems fine. Piston moved in and out as well, because there's a little piston that moves in and out, and that opens and closes, allowing exhaust gases in. And put it back together, ready for another test drive. Now because I've got the van in at the side of the house just now, I don't like taking them in and out, because I do have to go across some grass, which is not necessarily the best thing, but it's what I have to do. But in This episode though, because of the rain, is a bit miserable, and there's potentially a sticky handbrake here on the passenger side rear, or near side rear if you want to be technical. I still need to get these wheels off and check these brakes, but the seatbelt has arrived for the passenger seat, so we'll get that fitted, and also the wiper blades have arrived as well, so just in time for the rain, so we'll get the wiper blades installed on the outside as well. And if it does clear up, we'll try and get the wheels off and we'll take a quick look at these brakes, but it doesn't look that promising, but we'll see what we've got. Anyway, let's get the seatbelt on. That's one thing that we can do. Right, so I brought some stuff in. I've left the door open to try and keep some light in here. Don't know how well it's going to work out right enough. I've already dismantled this, but as you can tell, mainly because I wanted to get the part number for the seatbelt so I can try and get that ordered from a breaker's yard. I've got the seatbelt in, that's fine. Really just a quick thing for the Transit, it's actually relatively easy to change the seatbelts on these, or at least get access to them. You've basically just got one screw at the bottom, one about a quarter of the way up, another one, well, wait there. One at the bottom, quarter, 3/4, and then you've got two up at the very top. Now there are bolts as well that actually hold the seatbelt on. These are T50s. So T50 for the two bolts, or the three bolts, because there's a bolt that holds the main mechanism, a bolt at the top for the initial adjuster strap, and then there's a bolt on the seat itself to hold the seat belt on. So really pretty straightforward, to be honest, not much here. So what I'm going to do is just crack ahead and put this back on, basically. Hopefully you can still see. Hopefully. Right, so we've got that lower bolt in. Hopefully that came up on camera. I know the light's not very bad. In fact, let's try and shine some light on the subject, will we? Will we try and shine some light on the subject? Nah. So, anyway, single bolt there for us. We'll basically just run this strap up now to the top one. So there's a little holder here that we just fasten to the top. Now, before we do that though, we do need to run the seatbelt up and through and get this plastic panel back on before we go any further, because this bolts onto the outside of the plastic. Oh no, I'm missing screws. I'll need the magnet. And then there's one last screw there, but I need to go and grab the magnet. Here, magnet. We need you. So I've been organised. I basically put all the screws underneath the seat here, but there's a lip on this seat, so I now have a screw that is under here. There we go. These wee things are great, by the way, these wee magnets, these wee telescopic magnets. Again, you can get these on eBay actually. You can get them in a set, so there's three of them, three different strengths of magnets. Great wee things. So what we'll do now is we'll get the final I need to take the headrest out for that one. Headrest is just 2 clips. There's 2 little press levers here on the headrest. Just push them in, the headrest comes up. Come on. I just recessed in and my driver isn't a magnetic. It doesn't have a magnetic bit on it, so. We'll get them started with that and drive them back. And there we go. All secured. Could be doing with a bit of dust right enough, but hi ho. Right, so basically we'll just feed this bit up now. Up into this latch. I can't remember actually if that washer has to go on the back side, so there's like a washer, so I think it goes to the back of the knuckle, and then you've got the bolt itself. I'm sure that's how it came out. Yep. Done. Damn. No. Still one last bit. So now basically this buckle here needs to get attached to the bottom part of the seat. So let's try and change this camera angle and see whether or not I can get you down there so you can have a look. So from the passenger seat, the front door, there's a little screw here. Just need to take that out. We'll get our buckle, and there is a little keyway on this, so we'll just put that keyway in there, and then fasten that down. That's that problem all done. So that's good. So the next thing really to do is get the wiper blades on. Now, as I was trying to take off this seat belt, I had noticed that actually we do have damage on the centre bench as well. So on the centre seat, its seat belt is damaged. So we will need to order that. Now, trying to find that centre front seat belt, difficult, and also very expensive actually as well. It was about 60 quid to try and get a replacement for that centre seat, and I was 22 or something like that for the passenger. Now I think the reason for the extra cost is because if you just need the seat belt itself, it means that from a breaker's yard's point of view, the bench seat kind of becomes useless because it's missing that seat belt. So I think that's why the extra cost. Now I do have my eyes on a universal seat belt, so I'm going to take this one off, and fingers crossed the universal one will be okay. Hopefully it'll fit. But that's for another day. And we'll put the wiper blades on. Might as well. It's raining after all. So when it comes to wiper blades, each has their own, their own idea of what ones are the best ones to get. Now I'm really just going to snap off these cable ties which are temporarily holding the current blade on. Just get rid of them. Now this should be relatively easy to remove because it's already damaged. So we want that to come off of there. There we go, like that. So basically on this one, it was actually the hook that was damaged. The plastic here just wasn't holding it, so we got rid of that. Now, as I said earlier on, lots of people have different ideas on what's the, you know, the right wiper blades to actually get. I quite like the Bosch stuff, so I quite like the Bosch Aero Twin, the kind of flat blade design rather than the kind of oval frame. I don't know what you call them, standard wiper blades. So I like the flat ones. I just feel as if they're better. So I have tried cheaper ones, you know, the kind of knockoff ones or just super cheap ones, but they tend to fail after like 6 months, so I don't like them. So I end up always just buying the Bosch. Again, I'll put a link to the supplier for these. I've actually used them a few times, so I'll put the supplier link for the Transit for these Bosch ones. Pretty reasonably priced. Okay, so there is some sort of dark art to these. There's no two ways about it. There's a little press lever here that you lift up, and then you've got the actual swivel point itself. So we're trying to get the hook basically down and around here, I believe. So we're going to try and coax this. Maybe not. Maybe not. Second time. There we go. So basically it just slides in with the latch here on the right hand side. Little hook down, a bit of resistance, push it in, it should then click, and then we now have one wiper blade. So on this Transit here, it's the passenger side is the AR, so Alpha Romeo 22U uniform. So AR22U. And it's the AR26U that goes onto the driver's side. So basically we'll just slide that up, it kind of clicks, push that down, and that's it. All done. Let's give them a try. Quality. So there we go. Wiper blades, easy enough changed on the Transit. Like I said, I like the Bosch ones. That's just me. Something like 20 odd pound, 22 pounds, something like that for the two pairs here. A lot cheaper than it is for Halfords, for example. And the supplier that I'll link to actually does do really quick shipment as well. So if you do need them in a hurry, I'll put the link to that supplier. We've got the seatbelt in though. We've got wiper blades done. We've done our EGR problem. I've also done another relearn on it as well. I started to think, because I had issues with the copper seals on the injectors, that when it did its learn procedure, it may not have really done it properly, because there would have been a leak there. So I decided to do the relearn again. Now I think it has actually made a little bit of difference. I think there is a much better throttle response. It must have been off, but not by much. But really the last thing I want to do though is get the rear wheels off, have a look at the brakes, and then just, you know, just go from there basically. Apart from that though, oh wait there, oh no, I dug a wee bit deeper. If you remember though from one of the first episodes when we looked through this, we had the sneaky suspicion that it was covered in body filler, right, Bondo. And my curiosity got the better of me, and I decided to start having a look and start peeling back the layers. I'll show you what I found. Now as we come down, we can actually see here that it is very scabby. So inner and outer sills for this one on the front. I did try and see if I could patch them, but to be honest they're too far gone. Most of the damage is actually okay. You can see there that I've just put some primer on it just to cover it up. I was really just doing some investigations. As we come round, we can see that this bottom corner is all gone as well.
again in the arch all the way along. I have stripped that. Now I have done the welding on the wheel arches, so they are done. Just need a wee bit of seam sealer on this one, and then that'll be right as rain. So yeah, basically we're looking at basically welding on all 4 corners. I have not started to dig into that side yet. But yeah, definitely need some TLC. Got this side up. I've already done the other side, and my oh my, did we have headaches with that. I'll show you that later. But let's just get this wheel trim off. Let's get this wheel off. Now I do like to put the wheel just underneath the car, just in case the axle stands fail and just in case the jack fails. Basically just in case everything fails, this will be our last defence. Right, so I got a wee pry bar. We need to lift this handbrake up so we can pull this cable out. And that's it there. Nearly broke my fingers right enough, but it's out. I do think we've got a similar situation here as we did on the other side. So we need to take the slide pin bolts out, the caliper bolts out. So that's this. Same for one down below. Now what's happening here is there's a pin here that has a flat face on it, so I need to get a spanner on that just to stop it from spinning round. I think my big head's in the way. Thank goodness. Now just before I take this caliper off, I want to just see whether or not I can break the bleed nipple. Well, not break it, but loosen it. Yeah, so that's fine, that's loose, that's fine. And the next one I want to try and see if I can get off is the main brake line here. Now what I think I'm going to do though is I'm going to put these bolts back in, just temporarily. Yeah, it's really just so I can get a bite, just so this doesn't move and I can get that off. So it did move in one direction and it's moving in the other. So that's fine. Now the only reason I'm really just wanting to take these hoses off and check that bleed nipple is because I think maybe the piston's seized. So I'm just going to take that off. This should now slide away. Pull that handbrake out the way. Put that round there. And I'll set that caliper there. Now actually, I think this caliper's been changed. I think that's a different caliper. I don't know if you can see there on the camera, but it's got a silver face. It's literally just brand new. and by the looks of it, it's leaking. So that's upsetting. Now both slide pins here do move. On the other side, this was actually seized. Do have meat on that side, a little bit, and we do still have some pad material here. But we can see for the disc though, it's not smooth the whole distance. There's no physical lip, but I still believe that it's bad. Right, so what I want to do now is there's two bolts behind here that holds the bracket on. I want to just remove that. Now, I really do think this has been off. Yeah, I got me. Brake hardware's all snapped off, so there's nothing there, just a little bit. Now the next thing I want to do is get rid of this axle nut. Now it could be a left or right hand thread that's on this. We'll try the normal way first. That caliper. There we go. So just the normal way around. Lefty loosey. Right, the next thing then is to try and remove these torques. I really want to break them here, break them loose while they're on the wheel. Now on the other side, these were pretty tight, so hopefully I don't have that issue again. Basically just going to put a bar here, and then hopefully, no, let me think about this, guys. It's my first day on the job. Why is my brain not processing this? I want it to go this way. Yes, that's fine. Yeah, anyway, that's what I was after. Right, so before I had to use this breaker bar, this ridiculously sized thing, to get it off. I'm really hoping that that's not the case for this side. Snap. Not really what I wanted. Well, that's rotten, isn't it? T50. I do have this one, so maybe. No, I don't have Halfor's warranty on this one right enough, so I really hope it doesn't snap. stupid. It's actually bending the Torx bit. Oh, thank goodness that one wasn't as bad. Now, the leverage that I have on this bar is a ridiculous amount. Just get the rest of that off. There's a little metal washer in here. I'll go and grab the magnet for that. Come on. Now this has been packed full of grease. It's been packed full of grease, that one. And now this whole assembly should just pull off. There we go. That there, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but right there is the ABS sensor. So you don't want to damage that. So really the last thing I want to do is I want to just take off the caliper. I just want to get that off. Now I'm actually just going to pinch off the line here. Not super tight, but just hopefully enough to pinch it. And then I'll just unscrew that. But yeah, I think that seal's gone in. This one. Now I've not got that tight enough, so I'm just going to tighten it out just a little touch more. And then just try and get this somewhere where it'll hold. Oh, I'm making a right bloody mess. Making a right mess. Ugh. Anyway, got that off, got it clamped. Let's take the wheel over at the stones and we need to separate the hub from the disc. And I've got a wee trick for that. So what we've got here is we've got the hub, but we need to separate that disc from the hub. And this is where I'm going to use a little trick. I can't remember who I saw this from, but what I want to do is, we broke off these Torx, so I actually just want to pull them up a little bit. Not that far, just enough. Now I suppose if you did have like a press or something like that, then you could probably do this on that, but if you're watching this, you've probably not got one of them. So we need a wee bit of a more ghetto way of trying to make this work. So all I've done there really is I've taken the Torx that we loosened up and I've actually just brought them above the surface. So maybe, I don't know, 5mm, something like that. That's what I've done. Now, the magic really happens when we come over here and we grab the wheel. Now, what I want to do now is put the wheel over the top, like that. And then I just want to take the nuts, so I just want to go and put these on here, just like so. Let's try and sit you down. Alright, so this is where the cool bit happens. So then all we need to do, because we raised those Torx bits up, we've now basically created a little gap, and because the studs are going to lift up, they're going to pull up. As it pulls up, we're pushing down on those torque bits, so it's actually going to separate the disc from the hub. So that's all we're going to do. We're just going to go around here, just evenly go around. Tighten them up. And as we go around, it's the old ones, or the ones we originally tightened, they're going to go loose. Right? Back them all back up. And what we should have is separated hub. So all I want to do now is just take those Torx out. So we'll take that out, and then I need my wee chisel, and all I want to do is just put the chisel in. Bada bing, bada boom. Not even breaking a sweat. Pretty nifty. Oh, and there we go. One disc ready to be changed. Oh, hello there. Don't sneak up on people. As I was editing this video, episode 5 here, I realised that actually we just finished the brakes and that was it, it's finished, it's over. And that is actually pretty much how it is. I have ordered the parts, waiting on them coming in now. Hopefully it'll be a couple of days and I'll receive them and we can get them fitted. Now once we've actually got these brakes fitted, then hopefully, fingers crossed, 98% of the mechanical things are finished, and then really it's just the welding that's going to happen afterwards. So I'm really hoping that once these brakes come in, we're kind of finished mechanically, then I can get the welding done, and then obviously I can send the van off to its new owners and they'll go through the conversion. Now hopefully I will be able to dip in and out of their build as well, you know, maybe see the progress of it, because I know some of you are probably keen, especially considering it's a wee short wheelbase that we're working on. So we'll definitely try and do some follow-ups with it as that build progresses. But yeah, fingers crossed. But anyway, we'll look forward to the welding. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed to the channel. We're sitting at 63. It would be great to get to 100, you know. But I do appreciate you all hanging out with me today and you know, watching this video. I do appreciate it very much. Anyway, thank you very much, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.